who are listening in, my name is Uzma Javed, and I work in the Office of Overseas Citizen Services in the Bureau of Consular Affairs. Our office is broken into two. We have Children's Issues, and then we have American Citizen Services. I work in American Citizen Services, also known as ACS, and that's kind of our focus of our presentation today, so I'll dive right back into that. ACS focuses on a wide variety of things. We provide assistance to U.S. citizens who are traveling or residing overseas. The protection of U.S. citizens overseas is one of the Department of State's highest priorities, and accordingly, we strive to provide assistance in two main ways, and in no specific order. We provide a variety of services to U.S. citizens overseas who need help, and secondly, we provide a variety of messages to inform U.S. citizens overseas about health or safety-related concerns in the country that they're visiting. So let's talk a little bit about our messaging piece of our work. Some of the key messages that you guys may be most familiar with are travel warnings, travel alerts, the worldwide caution, security messages, and emergency messages. We also do fact sheets about specific topics of concern. So for example, we have fact sheets on financial scams, crime victims assistance, and health-related topics such as the Ebola virus disease or the Zika virus. Another form of our messaging includes our country-specific information, also known as our CSI. So on the screen, you guys have the CSI up for Nepal, and you can kind of see the layout of what our CSI looks like. CSIs provide an overview of all the issues in a specific country. We have a CSI for all countries, and it basically gives an idea of the safety and security concerns in that country, an overview of the political and economic atmosphere, also talks about aviation and health-related concerns. And then lastly, but probably our most important tool, is our Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. STEP works, which is also known as STEP. STEP works as twofold. First, it allows the department to release messages to the public who are enrolled in STEP. And secondly, it helps us locate missing persons. If that person was enrolled in STEP, we ask specific information that they put in, airline information, where they're staying, location, phone numbers, contact information for friends and family who may be in country. Basically, anything that will give us a starting point, should the person disappear. So let's talk back a little bit about those messages. So I'm going to go over the different messages that we have and when they're used. Travel alerts refer to when we have a short-term event that poses imminent risk to the security of U.S. citizens. Travel alerts can be used for country-specific, or they can be used regionally. A couple of regional examples are, we did a regional travel alert for West Africa for the Ebola virus disease back in 2015. That was a health-related travel alert. A security-related travel alert was our most recent one that we did for Europe. A couple of travel alerts that we have up right now. One we have is for Kenya, which is actually in effect right now as we speak. It's for the UN Conference on Trade and Development, which is scheduled again right now. And it's basically telling people to be careful when they're traveling to Kenya, use your judgment, be safe, and just note that large gatherings can often attract terrorists, so just be mindful to your surroundings. Another travel alert that we currently have up is for Laos. And again, it's basically, the security situation remains unstable. Stay alert when you're traveling to Laos. Travel warnings refer to long-term concerns and recommend that travel be deferred because of the dangerous or unstable condition in that country. Travel warnings are only country-specific. They're not used regionally, and they're reviewed every 6 months and reissued as appropriately. So currently right now, our two latest travel warnings are for Turkey and Bangladesh. Again, both of them, warning U.S. citizens of increased threats and to avoid certain parts of the country, if not the whole country. So basically, travel alerts advise folks to be careful when they are traveling overseas. Travel warnings recommend travel be deferred. Our worldwide caution provides an overview of ongoing worldwide security concerns. This is issued once a year. Security messages and emergency messages are issued by U.S. embassies and consulates overseas. They're both related to health or security-related threats or concerns that are specific, credible, and non-counterable. So for example, for security messages, we may release one if we know that there's a peaceful demonstration that's going to take place because elections are coming up, or someone famous has come into town. Whereas emergency messages are when we need to inform U.S. citizens about imminent events or threats that require immediate action. So for example, that security message that you just released for peaceful demonstrations, now those demonstrations have gone violent. And so we will release an emergency message asking folks to get off the streets, go home. So let's talk a little bit about no double standards. Under the no double standard policy, the department is obligated to inform private U.S. citizens about the safety and security concerns that are shared within the official U.S. community. So for example, if our regional security officer releases a message internally to all embassy and consulate personnel regarding health or safety concerns that are specific, credible, and non-counterable, we are obligated under the no double standard policy to also share this information with the public. This information is shared through the different messaging tools that we talked a little bit about, including our CSI. All right, so now let's move on to the services that we provide. Our services are broken down into routine services and emergency services. Medical evacuation is a form of emergency service that we provide to U.S. citizens who are unable to receive medical treatment in the host country and they need to return either to the United States or go to a nearby country to receive treatment. Some of our routine services include passport issuances and renewals, consular report of birth abroad, birth certificates issued by the Department for children who are born overseas to U.S. citizen parents, and notarios. We also assist with arrest and death cases. For arrest cases, if a U.S. citizen is arrested, the embassy or consulate personnel will go visit them in the jail or the prison. We'll provide them with a list of attorneys. We'll make sure that their health and safety concerns are being met. And then if needed, we'll also attend their hearings in an observer capacity. For death cases, we help locate the next of kin, and we provide them with death notification. We work with the next of kin to determine whether, how they want to handle the disposition of the remains and the personal effects, whether they want the remains to be repatriated back to the United States, or if they want a local burial, if they want the remains to be cremated, whatever it is that they want. And then we also issue a consular report of death abroad, which is basically a form of a death certificate that is issued by the department. We also conduct welfare and whereabouts checks for U.S. citizens who go missing. And again, this ties back into our STEP program. It's not letting me go forward. Additionally, we provide loans to U.S. citizens who are in need of money overseas. The two types of loans that we provide, one is repatriation loans, and it's for destitute U.S. citizens who want to return to the United States. The other type of financial assistance loans that we provide is called EMDA, Emergency Medical Dietary Assistance Loan. And an EMDA loan is a short-term loan for U.S. citizens who don't plan to return to the U.S., but they need money to pay for medical or dietary needs. We also work with victims of crime. So if you are a U.S. citizen overseas and you find yourself to be a victim of crime, we encourage you to please come to the embassy and report it. We also encourage them to reach out to local law enforcement, depending on how comfortable they are doing that. Some of the examples of victims of crime that we see quite often are forced marriages, gender-based violence, domestic violence, theft and robbery, scams, and even female genital mutilation. That's becoming a very common one, unfortunately. And lastly, we assist U.S. citizens during a time of crisis. If there's a crisis in a country and commercial travel is no longer available, we will provide charter flights to help U.S. citizens evacuate from that country. These crises can be related to natural disasters, or they can be man-made disasters such as terrorist attacks that we see all around the world right now. So for example, our latest evacuation was in Juba, South Sudan. I think it was just for a couple of days, a few days, but we were able to get the few Americans that we have there out. So I know this is a lot of information, and I'm sure you guys went through the slides the first time around and kind of get a sense of what I was talking about. But again, everything that I've mentioned can be found on travel.state.gov. One plug I wanted to put in is for all of you travel agents who are listening in. For those of you who don't know, please do enroll in STEP yourself as well, because that allows you to get the alerts and the messages that we are releasing about a specific country and gives you information at your fingertips that you can then share with your clients. So let's go ahead and open this up for questions.
So far, just one question, which I think is important. Can STEP be automated, i.e. can a travel company auto-populate this so ACS knows Mr. X is overseas? Like, just as an example. So I think what he's asking is can the STEP program is it intuitive? Like, does it know when a traveler is in a certain destination?
Unfortunately, no. So it has to be all manually plugged in. If one person is traveling to 5 different countries, you're going to have to put in the information for all 5 different countries. You just put in the dates, and we'll have it all saved into our system, and then we can kind of track you from there. It's like just an idea of knowing that during this time frame you'll be in this country, but it's not auto-populated. There's no other real way to get that information in. It has to be manually put in.
Great. Okay. Well, folks, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to direct them to ASTA or to travel.state.gov, and we'll be happy to get those answered for you. And thank you again so much.
And there is one follow-up. Can travel agents sign up their clients for STEP? Or
they can. Absolutely. Okay. Sometimes it can be a kind of long and tedious, a lot of information. Sometimes people don't know, like, is this information important? You know, what is, what isn't? So we do encourage you guys go over the STEP program with them and, you know, look over what our requirements are and what we recommend that, you know, folks put in, and you can definitely plug the information in for them.
Okay. So I think that answers that question. We had another question come in. Will they have to sign up each time they travel to a foreign country? The answer to that is
unfortunately, yes.
And travel agents can sign up their clients.
Yep. And again, I encourage travel agents to sign up for STEP as well. If you guys have a region that you focus on, or specific countries that you focus on, or just countries of interest, if you're signed up, you will get our security messages and our travel warnings and our worldwide caution and all that stuff, either through SMS, depending on what type of platform our embassy and consulate have, or through an email.
Okay, and so when a travel agent signs up a client, does that client then receive the alert?
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's part of the reason why we recommend the travel agents be signed up as well.
Yeah.
Not only can they monitor on their client's behalf,
yeah,
the client also receives those notifications.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to let everyone know in the presentation that we will have this recording up on ASTA.org on demand, and we'll make sure that we send everybody on this webinar a link to that recording.
And STEP is at travel.state.gov.
Yep. So if you go to travel.state.gov, the first page that pops up is this, and STEP is right there in the middle, big and bold. And right underneath where you had the suitcase with the check mark, STEP, right underneath that, learn about your destination. You plug in your country there, and that's how you pull up the CSI.
Mm-hmm. Okay. One of our attendees said, I recently had a client who lost her passport in Italy and got the passport right away. Is that similar to that? I think that in general, right, you provide
normal for
services.
So STEP is really used for us to kind of monitor your movement, right? So again, STEP is used for twofold. One, to protect U.S. citizens overseas. If you're in a country where there's a lot of demonstrations, a lot is going on, STEP, you may not be in the city, right? Like, you may not be in the capital, you may be out somewhere far away from the capital, but at least through STEP you'll know that in the capital this is happening, I'm heading back today, I should probably wait until tomorrow. Another way STEP helps is it helps us look for you in the event that you go missing. Applying for a new passport or getting an emergency passport or any of the other services is really not through STEP. That's just by entering the embassy or the consulate and asking them for help.
Right, and the sign-up process is really simple. When you go to travel.state.gov, you just follow the steps to sign up your clients or yourself.
Yeah.
And then one important question I think that we really need to cover is, do travel agents or clients have to pay? Right.
For STEP, absolutely not. Dime.
Good. Good. This is a free service, folks, and it's really important to not only sign up for STEP yourself, but make sure that your clients who are traveling overseas are also registered.
And I think what else is really important is sometimes you'll have clients who are from that country or of that origin, or they have friends and family there, and they're like, oh, I'll blend right in, I'll be fine, nothing's going to happen. You know, they should still be enrolled in STEP. I mean, you never ever know what's going to happen. And if someone is traveling to a country that is of concern for us right now, especially they're on our travel warnings list, please push them to get on STEP.
Sure. So just a reminder, everyone, I'm seeing a lot of questions roll in. This webinar will be available on asta.org and emailed to all of the participants. And please visit travel.state.gov to sign up for the STEP program. That is where you sign up for the STEP program. It's travel.state.gov. And then the country-specific information is a component of travel.state.gov where you can sign up for alerts. Does state recommend that travelers purchase or consider purchasing travel insurance?
We can't really give advice as to what people should do, but of course we would say, you know, if you are planning to travel to a country that's of concern where you think you may encounter some sort of unrest, you should look into getting travel insurance. And one thing that I would put a plug in for as someone who covered Ebola for the longest time is not all travel insurances offer evacuations or medical evacuations, so check with them on that too.
Sure, that's really great advice.
Especially with all the Zika stuff going on, and there's so many unknowns. We don't know how this virus is going to really kind of lay out. As of right now, we're still okay, but like, you know,
right. Definitely.
It's difficult.
And another interesting question, and I know you know the answer to this, but one of our participants wants to know, can this also be done via my Global Entry membership site?
No.
Separate.
Yeah, that's separate. That is monitored through the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay, yeah. So thank you for clarifying that. So again, I'm seeing a lot of similar questions roll in. Travel.state.gov is where you can sign up for the STEP program and also sign your clients up for the STEP program. And again, this webinar will be available on ASTA.org. If clients have an emergency when the consulate, sorry, I want to go back to that question. If clients have an issue, can you go back to that question? I think it's up or down. Try down. If clients have an emergency when the consulate or embassy is closed, do you have an emergency line the agent can call?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we have an embassy where they are on authorized or ordered departure, that country will 101% have a travel warning. And on that travel warning, there will be information about which nearby country, which nearby embassy is assisting them, and what the emergency contact information is. And again, what I will say is people should always be open to calling us here in Washington, D.C. as well. We can always provide assistance and guide them in the right path too.
Okay.
And our information is on this last page right here. So 1-888-407-4747. So if they do find themselves in a place where they have nowhere to go, they can call us, or the travel agents can call us, or congressional offices can call us, however it is.
Okay.
It's another way to access us.
As these come through, I'm sorry, I'm getting more and more questions, but one question is can we get set up as a travel agent to get travel hazard notifications via email when a warning is issued for a specific country or city? I think the answer would be
the answer again is no to that. We don't have any sort of platform that allows us to just send messages out to everybody. All of this is again done through our SMART program. If you're enrolled in there, you'll automatically get anything that we release for that specific country. But you know, this is kind of tedious and annoying, but maybe, you know, save your travel.state.gov page on your favorites list and just constantly refresh it or something. I mean, we do updates almost daily to a lot of our products. So just monitor that.
Great. One question is, I see travel.state.gov for Mexico doesn't show 6 months shows 6 months validity needed for passport, but we are being told that they also do other countries. How often are they updated?
Okay, so Mexico is my country, guys. So I can tell you that I just updated the country-specific information for Mexico earlier this week. So if you go to the Mexico CSI and you click down on entry, exit, and visa requirements, it will tell you, and actually right there on Quick Facts, it will tell you that tourist visa or the passport, excuse me, validity requirements is 0. So we were just notified by the Mexican authorities that they don't require any 6-month validity anymore. So that's updated and it should be there.
Right.
And again, for CSIs, we now update them once a year, but we update them as appropriate as well.
Okay. that answers a few other questions too about CSI.
Yeah.
That's important.
So if the change comes through, that's important like this. I mean, for Mexico, it just so happened that we were in the process of updating it anyways, but if this is an important change, so if we come in, we would do it right away.
Well, looks like we have the right person to answer your question. How lucky. And then again, I think we just need to remind people that they have to sign up for each country. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. For each trip.
And for each trip. Okay. So I think that.
Oh, and what I will say is, once you're enrolled in STEP, you'll have a username, password, and all that stuff. It'll save all your information. So when you're going back in to sign up for your next trip, you're just plugging in information for that specific trip. You're not putting in all your like bio data again. So it's really just the first time around that's a little long.
Great. One of our webinar attendees is celebrating the STEP program, and she's a part of it. She's enrolled in it, and she's been invited to some great things. So I'm glad to see that some of our agents are already using the program. And again, please sign up yourself as a travel agent so you can be aware of what's going on in certain countries. If you're specializing in a certain destination, it would be smart to have alerts for all of those areas where your business is focused.
Yep.
And another question. Is State coming back to do a webinar in September?
Absolutely will.
Okay, great. Yes.
You guys invite me.
Yes, we really do enjoy offering this to our members, and we're so appreciative of the work that we do together. We think that it's really important to make sure that our travel agents are educated and know all the tools and resources available to help keep their travelers safe and help them have an enjoyable trip. So again, this webinar will be online on ASTA.org, and thank you everybody for joining us today. Please feel free to email ASTA any additional questions, and either myself or someone on our government affairs team will help address them. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.